Hello Woodstock, I'm Jeff Moran, your town supervisor, and welcome to the Supervisor's Report of Tuesday, October 13th, 2009. This morning I was at the Esopus Town Hall, which is a brand new complex. It's a $5 million complex, recently opened for business. It took them about 2.5 years to build, and half of that $5 million cost was funded by the DOT. The reason I was there today was for the groundbreaking of this very large solar array. They've got photovoltaic panels, which they expect to provide about 48% of the building's energy needs. This is a great model for Woodstock. As you know, we're trying to find something to do with our municipal facilities, whether we renovate Town Hall, whether we buy another building on 212, or whether we renovate the Coma property and build a new building to accommodate everyone in our government on the Coma property. Whatever we do, we're going to have to work hard with NYSERDA, with the county, with the state, to make sure that we are energy efficient, and we will do our best to make sure that we get some grant money to make that happen, because there is grant money available. Stimulus funds are not really in place yet. We hear a lot of talk about it, but it's not happening as far as we can tell. But there certainly is money for energy efficiency block grants, and that we will work on when we build our new town hall. I don't expect our new town facility, whatever we do, to be anything like $5 million. The reason that Esopus's was that high is because the DOT was a partner. So the Department of Transportation coughed up about $2.5 million towards the cost of the $5 million town hall, which is all brand new. So they're sharing it. So $2.5 million is what it costs the town of Esopus. Now that is a town of a little over 10,000 people. So it's bigger than Woodstock. Woodstock has 6,200 people by the last census. But that gives you an idea of what a town of X many thousand people spends on a new facility. And whatever we do, whatever choice we make, we will have to spend money. But the building will no doubt be a Class A masonry building and something we can bond out for more than 10 years, probably a 25-year bond. So it won't be too heavy of a hit on the taxpayers, but it is something that we absolutely do have to do. On the further topic of facilities, I want to take a few minutes to talk about the Como easement process. As many of you know, the referendum in 2003 voted to place a portion of the Como property, the woods and the meadows, under a conservation easement, and after a 5-year legal challenge, that question was settled. So now we're in the process of signing that draft agreement. The Woodstock Land Conservancy, our partner in this deal, asked that we include an amendment that talks about a stewardship management plan, so the property can be managed and we can think about the eventualities, think about the problems, the concerns, and try to settle those before we do the final language on the easement. So this is what we're trying to do next week. On October 20th, on Tuesday night, we'll be meeting in public with our attorney, Stephen Barshoff, who we hired specifically to work us through this process. Now, this is a very important situation. The 77 acres of the Como property is certainly a precious jewel for Woodstock, and we want to make very sure that the deal that we make with the Land Conservancy is the right deal for Woodstock. We certainly want to preserve the woods, preserve the meadows. We also want to make sure that our municipal needs are covered and that our recreational needs are covered. This is a 20-some page document. It's complex, and we have to make sure that we understand every single line. My experience in business is that you don't sign a contract until the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed. I'll just give you one example. When I took office in January of 2008, there was a deal in the works that was essentially a done deal. I had asked if we could change it before I took office when I was in the planning board, and the word I got from the board was, well, no, the deal is so far along it can't be changed. If we changed it, we might lose it. So I got into office and I looked at the deal, and that was to sell California Quarry, about 196 acres, and retain just that portion that has the road to get to the cell tower. So I looked at the deal, I said, we need to change this because this is where we get our quarry rubble. Now our quarry rubble is very important. Gravel is a precious commodity, and European firms are buying up gravel left and right and have been for several years now. So for us to maintain our own resources is a very important and very green measure. Helena Duda, who's the head of mining for the DEC, said, absolutely, there's nothing greener that you can do than to keep your own resources. So I worked with the Open Space Institute, with the Land Conservancy, and with the state to make sure that we could change this deal and still sell the property but retain our quarry rubble. And that quarry rubble was what we used in June of 2006 when Mink Hollow was flooded. We fixed the roads with that rubble, working 24/7 with the highway department. And that's how we made Mink Hollow safe, got the residents out, and we could not have done it without access to that quarry rubble. So this is very important. If we just signed the deal and had another event like that, and it happened on a weekend, we'd have to wait until Monday for the quarries to open in Kingston, and then ship it out Monday morning, then fix it. What would the residents have done? It's things like this that the chief executive of a town, and one hopes the town board also, has to think about. The Como property is not going anywhere. The Woodstock Land Conservancy is not going anywhere. But we do want to effect this deal in a timely fashion. So we are devoting our energies next Tuesday to speaking with our attorney to put all these questions on the table and see if we can get answers, so we can find a way to amend the easement as the Land Conservancy wishes us to, and as we as a town might wish to do, to make sure that Woodstock gets the best possible deal. As supervisor, I get a lot of pressure from all sides. Some people saying, sign the easement right away. Some people saying, don't sign the easement. Well, the town did vote to sign the easement, so we will sign the easement, but we will make the best possible deal. It's very important that we fix the language of the easement first and then sign it, not the other way around. You'll hear voices saying we should sign it right away and then fix it later. That doesn't work so well. There's no reason we can't fix it first and then sign it. It's not about what's good for the easement. It's about what's good for Woodstock. And if the easement can be made right, which I believe it can, then it will be good and right for Woodstock.